You are once again in the field with Neil. It is a beautiful spring day. We are at a Hither Creek, and there's a very exciting project happening just over the dune from here. If anybody remembers the Stilt House, you're going to want to pay attention to this.
Oh, whoa. We got quite the crew hanging out over here. These kind of look ominous. Oh, here's someone who would know exactly what's going on over here. This is Dr. Jen Karberg, our research program supervisor at NCF. Jen, how's it going today?
It's going well, Neil. How are you doing?
Doing just fine. This is a crew of people from almost every conservation group on the island. We got Town of Nantucket, we got Linda Loring Nature Foundation, we got NCF.
We've got some volunteers from the Nantucket Conservation Association.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So good representation.
Land Bank.
Land Bank, of course.
Everybody's here today.
So what's going on? What are we putting in the ground?
Absolutely. So we're planting a bunch of native plants to help stabilize this big sandy area and help it turn into a dune, which is what it's trying to do naturally. So where the blue flags are, that are everywhere, is where we're putting in woody plants. We've got some bayberry, and then we've also got some high tide bush, which are two native plants out on Nantucket that are going to help grab the sand, hold the sand, help the dune build up out here.
So we're putting them into the ground. Why this spot in particular?
Absolutely. So we're working on this spot. If you remember, the Stilt House used to exist out here kind of on the horizon.
R.I.P.
This is an area that actually used to be a big open pond that was ringed by a wetland. And there were big woody shrubs and wetlands all around. And then there was a big dune up across the top, separating this creek from the Atlantic Ocean. South Shore of Nantucket is just over the edge of that dune over there. And the Halloween storm of 2017 actually washed over here. It was a big storm that hit the island, and the water washed over from the Atlantic Ocean, picked up the very established dune that was here, all that sand, and washed it all the way into Hither Creek. So it actually took all that sand, drowned all the wetlands, filled in most of the pond, Millie's pond that was over here, and just created a completely different ecosystem. NCF has been tracking this area since then to see if the salt marshes and the wetlands would come back on their own, and they haven't. This amount of sand that's come down has just been too much for what was here to be able to come back naturally. So what we're attempting to do today is to see if we can help this turn into a more stable version of what nature is trying to do. Nature is trying to turn this into a dune. And so we're planting these plants to get their root structures in and the plant structures in to kind of help that dune build faster.
So nature knows best, and we're just giving it the extra boost that it needs to help reestablish this dune.
You know, we're helping it. When we think coastal resiliency, this is kind of one of those projects where, you know, nature's pushed this natural system in a direction. It's pushed it towards the sand dune. And grasses have started to colonize out here naturally since 2018, which is great, but it'll take time. So the work that we're doing today will kind of push us ahead about 5 years in creating a stable dune out here. And a stable dune can better resist more storms, more wind, more tide coming in, and maybe hold this in place a little bit longer.
Wow. This is really exciting, and you know, for anybody who's been out to Nantucket and knows the Stilt House and remembers it, to see it transform into something that can help stabilize our island that's really helpful to anyone.
It's pretty amazing. And we talked about the woody plants with the flags, but also up across the dune we've got a bunch of volunteers planting beach grass. And beach grass is great. It actually changes its own environment on its own, the way it grows. It'll trap sand and actually help kind of undulating dunes grow up and hold in place. And if we do this, hopefully this dune will fill in, will grow, and will better protect Millie's Bridge, the connection of Nantucket and Smith Point to the island, and just add an extra natural buffer. And storms like this and events like this are going to happen along the South Shore with climate change and increased storms. So testing out how successful our work is here today will help us know if this is a good technique to use in other places on the island.
Whoa, so this could actually help other spots around Nantucket and help build up our island in other spots, not just Nantucket.
That's the hope. On island, you know, we kind of have a history of using dune grass plantings to help decrease erosion that's happening along our shoreline. We haven't really done a large-scale dune restoration project like this out here on island. So we're testing how effective it is. We're going to track it. We're going to see how the plants live and survive and grow over the next year. So the flags might stay in place for a few months while we continue tracking plants, and then we'll pull them out when we're satisfied that things have survived through the year.
That's so neat. And I know that you and Vince Murphy with the town of Nantucket have been planning this for a while, and COVID kind of put the damper on things last year.
It did. We were supposed to be doing this a year ago. Couldn't, but now we're finally out here, which is great. I should mention we're standing on town of Nantucket property. So this is their property, and NCF is helping with the research side of things. And then the Nantucket Conservation Association has actually helped fund this work today out here and has given us funding to buy the plants, and then we're donating time to get them in the ground and to keep monitoring them.
That's amazing. I love the collaborative effort and everybody's pitching in. A good group of people, some of the best conservationists on the island. Yes, a nice success story and a beautiful day.
And a beautiful day to be outside working.
Well, thanks for sharing what you're doing with us, and we'll go take a look at some other people putting some plants in the ground.
Absolutely. Thanks, Neil.